national pipe opener to a new season and provides crews from throughout South Africa with a stern early test. This year, the Tour Natal started in bustling Pinetown, and new machinery and new teams always add a little extra to the expectations that go with a new season. And another major talking point too in the off-season was Toyota's decision to withdraw from the Premier Class A8 category. While the two-day Tour Natal took in special stages on KwaZulu-Natal's north and south coasts, proceedings got underway in the Pinetown CBD with a spectator-orientated super special stage. Turned up in droves to watch two-car shootouts with one of the more interesting clashes, the Class A6 match between Jean-Pierre Damso and Johan Klaassen. They were up against Hergen Fecken and Dave Lukevitz, with both crews out in Toyota Corolla RSIs, with Damso and Klaassen running in Team Total colours. The special stages are great fun for the spectators, but are fraught with danger for crews. Clipping a curve or making a small error of judgment can lead to some serious damage to the cars, and for Fecken and Lukevitz, that's exactly what happened. Fecken and Lukevitz whacked a curb, and the Pretoria pair were out of the rally almost before it had started. Race cam action is from the Fecken Lukevitz car, with rally fundies pointing out afterwards that national events are rarely won on the first stage. And what of Toyota's decision not to run in Class A8?
A6, I think, is going to be the class to look at. And Toyota's decision to move Serge as well down to A6 makes it even more interesting. So I think it's, you know, Serge and myself, and now Hergen and JP and all those guys that want to win in one class. It's going to be a hell of a day.
I don't think my son in my class is going to be any problem there. I think he's got his head sorted out. He's only worried about Fecken, and Adrian and myself are going to have a go. So I think it's sorted out already.
A little directorial flair from the start marshal, Andrew Kirby and Lawrence and Paisley, and back once again, the old firm of Damso and Bonafide were on their way on the mirror image course in another highly interesting matchup between two of South Africa's top crews. Race cam action is from the Lawrence Paisley car, with teamwork and good communication between driver and co-driver an essential ingredient. Two Toyota crews were locked in battle. Willing helpers were moving the stricken Fecken Lukevitz car out of harm's way. The Lawrence Paisley car went steaming past before the job was completed, with comprehensive damage to both the Toyota Corolla and crew's ego. Out on the stage, the scrap between Damso, reunited with longtime co-driver Vito Bonafide after a break of a year, and Lawrence and Paisley was turning into a tight affair. Both crews have a wealth of experience, but it was 7-time South African champions Damso and Bonafide who had a slight edge approaching the flying finish, and they sneak home by 2 seconds.
One can always be very clever and intelligent on the comments, but I think once you get behind the wheel, you just want to grow the horns and go for the chase. So I'm going to try and be reasonable about it, but I want to give him a chase. I want to put the pressure on him.
We were a bit disappointed when Serge withdrew from A8 because we were really looking forward to another good dice for the season. But, you know, we have 6 or 7 cars in A8, and it doesn't mean that we have to be slack about the situation. I think we still need to really concentrate and be very focused.
Now running under the Sasol banner, South African champions Jan Havik and Douglas Judd are in veteran charges. And with Paulo Piazzamuso, a tarmac stage specialist, there was huge interest in the clash between the VW Golf factory pair and the privately entered Ford Escort. Late starters Peter Altersky and Alan Bissett were preparing for a solo run, while Havoc Judd and Piazzamuso and co-driver Nick Haddon were giving the huge crowd something to enthuse about. The Works VW Golf and the Ford Escort, which last season ran with backing from Sasol, closely matched in what was turning into an intriguing scrap. Piazzamuso was living up to his reputation as a tar specialist, and Havoc and Judd were under pressure with the crowds loving every minute of it. Now virtually an obligatory ingredient in national championship events, super special stages help bring rallying to the people in metropolitan areas. The size of the Pinetown crowd was proof of just how popular these stages have become, with rally enthusiasts and the general public having their first close-up look at the spectacle that is National Championship Rally. Piazzamuso got a little crossed up at the flying finish, but the Escort posted the same time as the VW Golf, with the two. While other crews headed for the series of night special stages on the north coast, the Feckin Lukovitz car was being repaired at the roadside. The talented Feckin was a little bashful about the whole incident. With the car stuck in stage 1 for the duration, repairs to the Toyota were academic, with the disappointed Feckin and Lukovitz out of the Tour Natal.
We were coming down this hill and it's quite fast, and as I steered into this corner I got a slight understeer and I couldn't get it out of it, and we just took the curve there at the end. I'm sure the in-car shot will show you what happened, and unfortunately the suspension just bent and we couldn't get it out of the stage. They're busy fixing it now, but we couldn't get out of the stage, so we're out.
Next on the agenda for Tour Natal crews were a series of 7 night special stages in the Tongaat area. These were all gravel stages and destined to produce their fair share of drama. With the withdrawal of Toyota from the Class A8 category, Jan Havoc and Douglas Judd were overwhelming favourites to win the Tour Natal. Although other Volkswagen crews had been upgraded to compete in Class A8 alongside the factory car, and the Piazzamuso Haddon entry, the odds were stacked in favour of the reigning champions. Despite showing signs of little off-season rust, Havoc and Judd immediately took another 3 seconds off the Piazzamuso Haddon Ford Escort in the first of the gravel stages. Although no one was looking any further than Havoc and Judd as potential winners of the Tour Natal, the first gravel stage showed that the Class A6 Brigade were going to take on the role of David against the Class A8 Goliaths. First, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide in the dealer Team Toyota Corolla, and then Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley in the Team Total entry produced highly impressive Special Stage 2 times. With Havoc and Judd still settling down, Damso and Bonafide were only 1 second slower than the Sasol VW Golf. Lawrence and Paisley went 1 better, and with a little local knowledge on their side, were hugely impressive in taking 4 seconds off Havoc and Judd. Pretoria pair Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows were one of the VW Golf crews moved from Class A7 last season into Class A8 this time around. Hrobler and Burrows are now also part of the Sasol stable, but got off to a fairly sedate start. With a mini exodus of crews moving into Class A8, veteran KwaZulu-Natal driver Tony Ball and Marty Olivier were widely tipped to be among the Class A7 frontrunners. Their early progress was hampered when they came across an errant spectator in a bucky in the special stage, and that was not the way they wanted to start their season. Reigning Class A7 champions Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding, now also A8 runners in a Sasol-backed VW Golf, also got off to a somewhat sedate start, along with local crew Craig Trott and Gerhard Bezuidenhout in the Team Total Toyota Conquest, running in Class A6. After finishing second quickest in the Super Special stage, another local crew in the Mr. Toyota Conquest, veterans Peter Altersky and Alan Bissett, were looking to make more progress. Behind them, the SALive.com Toyota of Cobus Roos and Neil Ferree was locked in an early battle in Class N2 with the Team Total Toyota Corolla of Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper. A central service point in Tongaat was a hive of activity, with much of it centred around the dealer Team Toyota Corolla. Serge Damso looked a little agitated. Vito Bonafide looked relaxed, and team manager Waimi Haddad was wrestling with a problem.
The problem is the airlock that we have in the collector bottle of the fuel system. So it draws all the fuel out and then it doesn't refill by itself. So we need to get the air out some way or another. I'm still thinking, finding a way to get that out.
There was a job of some kind for everyone at the service park, with co-drivers also making sure they had all their scoring up to date.
On stage 1,
Serge beat us by 2 seconds, and now on stage 2 we beat Serge by 5 seconds. So we're leading now by 3 seconds between ourselves and Serge.
There was a handbrake problem for JP Damso, but co-driver Johan Claassen didn't appear unduly perturbed.
The battle in A6 seems to be hotting up, and Etienne winning the last stage.
Yes, we had a fairly clean run, but we lost rear handbrake. JP's trying to sort it out now. But yeah, so far so good.
Skills of a different nature from a local, and cosmetic treatment for the Roos-Free SALive.com Toyota.
Tell me what prompted you to decide on Kobus Roos?
Well, I was looking for somebody that I know can go the distance. And Kobus at this stage I think is the most exciting driver around. So we decided to invest our money in him, personally in the car, and we hope it will win the championship this year. That's what we're going for. Also the rally site is on SA Live. Everybody want to go there, you can see it. Keeping the stages up to date. All the stages up to this per second status on the net already published. So that's why we're doing it. We want to get people to go to the site and use it and know exactly what's going on in the rallies.
Kobus, how's this N2 battle going?
It's not going too badly at the moment. First time in Natal, so it's a bit of a battle. The new 6-speed is quite good, but yeah, Dean is winning at the moment. But we're just trying to find our feet, and then we'll go from there.
Special Stage 3 produced more early Tour Natal drama, and this time the central figures were Cuisine and Italians Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley. After an impressive Stage 2 showing, Lawrence and Paisley were starting to fly in the Team Total Toyota Corolla, but potential disaster is never far away in a rally car. Back at the service point, damage to the car was minimal, but Lawrence and Paisley had lost a whopping 7 minutes.
It was the second dirt stage. We came in a crossroads and I just came in and I braked a little bit late, and I thought I'd make it. And there was I think it was a rock or something before a culvert. I came in and it obviously hit just the sill. And it stopped me and it put me on the side. And Robert and myself, Mickey Meyer and he laid, we couldn't push it back on its wheels. So it was standing on its side like that. Then we couldn't find his road grip. Battled for 3 minutes, we found it underneath the dash. So it was just because of that. 7 minutes down.
Well, on such incidents, a rally's won and lost. But at the front of the field, Jan Habak and Douglas Judd in the factory Sasol VW Golf were gradually building themselves a comfort zone over Paolo Piazzamuso and Nick Haddon in the Ford Escort. The Ford pair were trying to put pressure on the reigning South African champions, but with themselves a little under the whip from Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide, with the David versus Goliath battle starting to gain momentum. Lawrence and Paisley were now throwing caution to the wind after dropping way down the pecking order, with the Bulwer Park VW Golf of Tony Ball and Marty Olafia starting to move up the leaderboard, with the pair now leading Class A7. Craig Trott and Gerard Verzetenhout were still going along steadily, although Class A6 had lost JP Damso and Johan Claassen, who went out on stage 5. Team Total Toyota crew, Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper, were into the top 10, with the pair leading both the Group N category and Class N2, while reigning champions Rodney Fasaki and Carolyn Swan in the Team Total Toyota Taz had taken early control of Class N1. Back at the service park, it was the turn of Chad van der Walt and Cindy Harding to run into problems. Pre-event preparation of the Sasol VW Golf was hampered because of delays for parts, with the car running into a shock absorber and alternator maladies. As day 1 of the Tour Natal drew to a close, penalties for lateness, while technicians sorted out the alternator problem, saw the reigning Class A7 champions start to slip down the leaderboard. At the end of day 1, a comfortable 70-second lead for Habak and Judd over Piazzamuso and Haddon. Class A6 pair Damso and Bonafide were just over 30 seconds behind the Ford pair and 3 minutes clear of Crobbelar Burrows VW Golf. White shift in direction.